Alienware Aurora R9 review. Please take 3 seconds to click the subscribe button on our channel for more upcoming videos. A powerhouse that doesn't feel the need to overcompensate. Many people think the best gaming PCs, with their glass panels and gaudy RGB lighting, are the peak of sophistication. Well, mostly. Alienware's Aurora R9 politely disagrees. In fact, the company's new desktop has more in common with an Apple Mac than a standard Windows tower. And although its design is understated, the range of components you can fill it with aren't. This is a powerhouse that doesn't feel the need to overcompensate. Naturally, you're paying a fair shake for that level of quality. Alienware Aurora R9s range in price from $747.99 for basic i5 starter sets. In Australia, the minimum configuration comes with a Core i7 CPU and costs $2,124 Australian dollars to $4,157 if you go for an extreme build. In other words, it picks up the baton from the previous model, the Aurora R8, and runs with it into the distance and over county lines, in the case of the i9-9900K GeForce 2080 Ti version. This is a gaming machine that can be whatever you need, and it's also accommodating for a variety of budgets. That gives it plenty of versatility for the years to come. Even though it's almost always cheaper to build a PC yourself, the R9 is a great example of why doing so isn't the be-all and end-all, as is exemplified by its design. You're getting intelligent engineering combined with essential components and 100% less hassle. Alienware has always positioned itself as the premium gaming brand, and the R9 supports that notion with a classy yet restrained design. An elegantly simple matte case is reminiscent of old-school Macs with those bulbous curves, and the scooped-out front for better airflow creates an eye-catching statement piece. What's more, there's a lack of ostentatious features that don't do an awful lot other than shout loudly. You won't find distracting RGB light shows or unusual angles to make it look like a sci-fi hovercraft. Thank you very much. Instead, the Aurora R9 opts for a more subtle approach. A single hoop of light at the front and lit-up logos are the only flourishes on display, and that's refreshing. It's confident in its simplicity. And although we personally would have preferred build materials that are a little more premium, the case itself feels somewhat plastic. Why? The smooth, oh so shiny front makes up for it. The latter is form complementing function, too. That distinctive strip juts out from cooling vents used when overclocking. The R9 obviously won't be to everyone's taste. A colleague described the case at large as a vacuum cleaner, which is rather accurate considering those vents, but you've got to give Alienware credit for breaking the mold. In truth, our only concern would be this design's longevity. We have a suspicion it won't age gracefully, but time will tell. As you'd expect, every Aurora R9 has the same basic features: that memorable chassis, almost a dozen USB ports, many of which are super speed, and the usual connectivity gubbins like DP, HDMI, and more on the GeForce card. Just remember to plug your chosen medium into the GeForce slots, as your device will default to much less powerful integrated graphics if you use the main display port at the top. Usefully, 3 USB slots and audio microphone jacks sit at the front for easy access. The case also has sliding locks on the rear for easy access, although you'll need to unscrew the whole thing to get at the insides. In terms of its innards, that'll vary depending on the model you choose. Our review machine was fitted with a 9th Gen Intel i7-9700K CPU, 16GB dual-channel HyperX Fury DDR4 RAM, a 512GB NVMe SSD, 2TB SATA HDD, and a powerful GPU in the form of an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super. Because the Super range is the latest addition to the best graphics cards, with access to next-gen tech like ray tracing and entry-level 4K, that's a good combo if you want to future-proof yourself. We're about to enter a new era of gaming thanks to the upcoming PS5 and Xbox Series X, so that's not a perk to be taken lightly. Yes, these features and Alienware's usual premium make for pricey machines. Nonetheless, you can at least be guaranteed that you're getting quality for your cash. In terms of everyday computing, the Alienware Aurora R9 handles like a dream. Even though I kept hurling weighty game downloads its way, it still performed admirably while handling other tasks at the same time. Because of that SSD, it also boots up exceptionally fast. This is a system that'll make light of both day-to-day tasks and more advanced pursuits like video editing. But what about games? Mileage will vary depending on the Alienware Aurora R9 version you go for, of course, but ours more than held up its end of the bargain when benchmarking and gaming. For example, it breezed through 1080p tests in 3D Mark at an absurdly high frames per second without breaking a sweat. It also performed admirably in 1440p mode. Which isn't to say it's not good at 4K gaming, it is. Even though it didn't manage quite as well in 4K benchmarks, it was still pretty good nonetheless. That means it's not going to be outdated too soon, and even if you did plump for a less powerful system, there's no reason you can't buy new components to replace them down the line anyway. The R9 can be easily opened up. It's not going to break a sweat when handling today's biggest games, either. Our version of the R9 made short work of large, complex firefights in the Division 2 at ultra settings, hitting between 56 to 60 FPS on average even when multiple foes were on screen at once. What's more, Total War, Warhammer 2 battles averaged 50 FPS on max settings during in-game benchmarks, while large scripted battles were utterly gorgeous with realistic rays of light warming elven towers and bouncing off meticulously detailed armor. The camera was also silky smooth when zoomed in despite furious melee combat between multiple units, and I never even needed to turn on the R9's overclocking at any point. And even if we had, the R9's overclocking systems are easy to customize, monitor, and tweak. This is the first time you'll start noticing those fans. By the way, engage overclocking and you'll be greeted by something of a ruckus at the front end of the unit. It's far from an offensive volume, though, and it's easy to ignore. Because overclocking is handled via the comprehensive Alienware Command Center, we can forgive a lot as well. It's an attractive, approachable piece of software with the usual customization options, including peripherals and RGB, that isn't nearly as intimidating as other overclocking software we've tried in the past. Indeed, the only issue we had with the Alienware Command Center as a whole was a slight technical hiccup after reinstallation where certain options wouldn't activate, but that's easily fixed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more upcoming videos.